Seditious Sirens. We are here live at Liberty Forum 2015. Woo!
You've been drunk the whole time.
Not me, it's all Anne's fault.
I've launched biological warfare on the vegans in the room, so it's not safe.
Well, good thing I'm not a vegan anymore.
Oh, so you guys who can't see us right now, but don't worry, we're on video, but it just cuts off and we can't post it. We have Allie Havens and Ellen Ball. Hi everyone, from ALP.
It is the reunion you guys have all been waiting for.
Fuck yeah. And
You guys are the vets here. I'm a little intimidated, and it takes a lot to get me intimidated, but 3 hot ladies, just all from Keene. You guys all have a history. I'm just like the newbie here, so I need to be filled in on what happened pre my move.
You're the hot girl from Manchester.
Well, I just completed like the foursome because 3 is a party and 4 is just an orgy, I guess.
Well, I don't think you should be intimidated. There's like lots of people here that are a lot. They've been around a lot longer than we have, so we might be vets to you, but we're not like super vets.
You guys are my idols. I want to know all the deep dark Keniac secrets. I heard it used to be a whole underground community. I need to know.
They don't tell me anything, so.
Were you? You were there.
I was there, but
You were there before us. You were an anchor on Freaking TV, which is like long and
I'm just terrible at keeping secrets, so they learned, quickly not to tell me things they don't want to get out. So.
Well.
And besides, there's no secrets. They know it'll end up on TV or on the radio somehow or online.
Well, you don't have any reasonable expectations of privacy when you move into the Free State Project. Everything will go Instagram, Facebook, Snapchatted.
Yep.
So you just always have to be on your toes. You have to be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah, that's about anywhere though. You can expect that whatever you say or do is going to be publicized. I mean, more so here because everybody knows everybody. It's like a very close-knit group of people, but we don't have any secrets. Is
Really?
that out there?
No secret. I mean, I'd like to have some secrets. I don't know. I like the idea of my life being a reality TV show, but I don't actually want my life to be a reality TV show. I'd like some moments where I can, walk around the house in my bronze panties and my boyfriend doesn't talk about it on his hit. Liberty Radio Network.
I feel like how they get people to agree to make their life into a reality TV show is they sell them in all the things that you think are going to end up on TV, like all the things you think people are interested in. No one cares about that.
Yeah.
People only care about the things that you would never want to be on TV. So that's how they trick you.
They take the 2 minutes of you being angry in the morning.
Yeah.
That's like the first thing they show.
Oh yeah, and we all get angry. Someone actually walked up to me and was like, "Oh, you live a very alternative lifestyle. Your life's not normal." So I think it's very amazing that you publicize it because you're showing people, okay, we're not the most normal people, but to me, I feel like we are normal in our own very weird way, I guess. And he says no one is really doing that. So I think people want to know your secrets, but I also think some things should be kept private. Like I say that all the time. I don't think people need to put everything on social media. Some things you should keep to yourself.
What about your life do people consider not to be normal?
I mean, I guess because I'm in a polyamorous relationship and I live in an apartment with a guy who calls himself Shower Dude and walk around naked and cook eggs and smoke weed for breakfast and I mean, we just live our lives as free as possible. That's the way we like to think of it.
Sounds like a normal life. You're just more open about what you're doing.
I guess it's more so the polyamory thing. I guess people don't consider it like as normal, but when you move to Manchester, I mean, I don't see anyone in particular that I'm looking at in the community that I'm like, yeah, that's just a normal guy. So I think
Normal
everybody.
is so subjective.
Yeah.
Who's normal? Who is normal, really?
Muggles.
So I feel like it's just just whatever you find acceptable. You know, whatever you're comfortable with is what's normal to you.
Well, as we say and people say about us, we're shameless people. So I don't really care. I don't. In aspects of what everyone else views as normal, I pretty much don't view myself as, I do view myself as the red apple in the green pile if I'm like out in public, but I embrace that about myself, so it's not something that I'm ashamed of necessarily, but it still doesn't mean I want every snotty nose on Snapchat. I don't. What about you guys? And that's the weird thing because you all date media personalities, so.
I
never
think
thought
that has
about
anything to do about that. It's just, you know, I think.
I mean, but most people don't have.
Mere coincidence, really.
Most people don't have boyfriends who have radio shows and a studio or whatever, or they're just all radio personalities. Everyone in the house is a radio personality. That's not a normal thing that happens in everyday life.
You know what we should have done is we should have just had our significant others do a show talking about how awesome we are.
I mean, isn't that what they do all the time?
I would much rather hear that.
I think that's every show. They say something nice about you. Just to say, no, it is. It's about you.
They're just trying to earn brownie points.
Ooh, this would be a funny thing. I wonder if it's normal when your boyfriend is recording something and you know anything about his girlfriend or you kind of come up, or maybe you're going to come up in some way. Do you like listen to that part over and over just to check to see and make sure that they weren't like, you know, being sarcastic about something nice they said, or
Yeah, you're reading into it.
Like, what'd you say?
What do they really think about me when they're talking about me to their friends? You know, like what is their honest opinion?
That's true.
You read into it too
I
much.
feel like maybe their shows are like an extension of their personalities. I don't know. I try not to listen to Rob. Rob's a sweetheart anyway, but I try not to go back and listen because 9 times out of 10 he said something that's super embarrassing, and I just don't want to hear about it.
Most of the time when I come up on Free Talk Live, it's because someone's calling in to talk shit to Ian about me being 17. So it turns into some sort of like bullshit. There's that, what the fuck is his name? Wait, where
He still calls in. Oh wow, I thought he would have given up at this
No,
point.
he's still
Trolls
calling
never
in.
quit.
Wow, just
He's
a
like-
ball full of rage.
He's ridiculous. Minister Ian, how about you tell your audience about your 17-year-old girlfriend, and everyone in their cars probably like turn up the radio and like, what? Cool, I wish
That's what I would do. What'd you guys say?
Yeah, what did you say?
And he never does have anything to say besides, oh, she's 17.
Well, that's kind of why I want to get into the history of Keen, and I wasn't there. And sometimes I hear people say things about like the past, and from the outside looking in, I mean, I can't judge any of you guys anyway. I mean, I can, but my opinion doesn't really mean much because I don't know who you guys used to be. I can only judge you by how I know you now and from here on out. But if, like for Renee, I can hear people saying things. They're saying, oh, like, blah, 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 I used to be this way, and like this was the way of the past. And I was like, well, I can't say anything, but I know who she is now, and I think she's awesome. So that's the only thing I can say in my, like, perception. So I don't know what happened or what didn't happen. I mean, I like to know. Like, how did you three all meet each other? How did that happen?
Well, I'm a local, I've always been here. You two
I
guys
remember
were-
I met Renee first. I remember I was hanging out. We're on our way to do the high school outreach. It was my first time doing it, and it was me, Ian, and someone else in the car, possibly Derek J. And then who's in the audience, and then we went to pick you up. And Ian knew who you were, and so I met you then. And that was, I think, after we did the outreach. So, okay, yeah. And so that's how I met you. And that must have been 2012. And then...
Yeah, that's actually when I met Renee too, in 2012. I just showed up to a social Sunday, and there she was talking
You
about...
met me later in 2012.
Oh, I met you earlier in like February or March when I first moved there, and I went to social Sunday. But it wasn't official. I just saw you. I knew who you were at that point. We didn't actually meet like face to face, talking to each other until a few months later. But I knew who you were, and
Yeah,
I met you
basically on
way
ALP.
before.
That was awesome. I wish that you could have been there, and I'm so excited to finally be
I
on
know,
mic
this-
with you.
That sucked that the first time you were on ALP, I wasn't there for that show. I don't remember
Yeah,
why.
I think you were sick.
She,
that day.
Yeah.
she's traumatized. She was like, if Allie gets sick and
That's
doesn't come today, I will be so
she got sick. What if you guys invited her? I'm gonna get sick because I've been feeling like shit thanks to Anne.
Then I'll never do a show with Allie.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll never be on.
I thought we'd been a show since then. Since then, probably. This is our first time being on the radio together. Wow.
Well, can you guys tell me what ALP was all about? What is Awesome Ladies?
Oh, it was a
What?
wonderful
That should have
show.
been an episode.
It sprang out of our minds.
Maybe that's what we'll call this episode.
Awesome Ladies Pimpin'.
Awesome Ladies Pimpin'.
Well, it was like a long-running joke, wasn't it? Because you were on an ad that I hear on our
Yeah, tell them about
every
the
day.
commercial.
Oh, okay.
Do the
Do a
commercial.
reenactment.
So for the Move to Keene commercial, which anyone who listens to LRN has heard tons of times, I remember when they were making it, Ian just wanted different people to come in and he asked us why we moved to Keene, and I think I did a couple takes, and I think it meant they were like getting frustrated because there's something wrong with how it was recording, and so Mark's like, let me take this over, and so Mark, goes in super conversational, friendly, like, we're just friends, we're just talking, why'd you move to Keene? And apparently that was the take they liked, but every time I hear it, I hate it, I hate my voice, but what is it?
Who doesn't know? Everybody hates their own voice.
I moved to Keene because, what was it? Something really important is going on there, and I just really wanted to move and come be part of it. Oh, I remember. The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. Another part of this set. So that's how ALP got its name, is because
That sounds so hippie.
when I was on Free Talk Live, they used to make fun of me in the chat room by saying, "Oh, Allie, you're just so ALP."
So was it a sarcastic show? I'm trying to.
No.
Actually, it was very serious. Like, ALP, we decided
Too
to
serious for some. Some people didn't even want to be on our show because they're like, "Oh, you guys are."
We could have used more humor,
You're no
but
fun.
I think that was partially due to, like, not only my inexperience, but, like, nervousness. And I think you were really good at, like, you were trying to encourage me to be better. But one of your best things.
That's why I chose you.
Thanks.
Because we were on
Girl love.
Ladies in Keene, and I heard you on that show, and so that's who I was like, I like that Ellen girl. If I do a show, I want her to be on. And then we had our first date at Five Guys before I knew you were a vegetarian,
Oh, that's so sweet.
and that's where I asked you to be on ALP. And
The rest is history.
yep, the rest was
So
history.
what?
Speaking of ladies in Keene, we have 3 LA vets right now.
We're missing one, right? If my sources
No,
are
you
correct.
were just too busy being in Georgia at the time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I should have left shitty Georgia and moved to the Free State Project immediately. But I feel like I came in the right time. I had lots of great people to lead the way, and if you people weren't here when I got here, I don't know if I want to stay. Well, for one, it'd be a sausage fest, which isn't such a bad thing. But I love that every woman, all of you lovely ladies out there included, I've met here has been super attractive, which is like very superficial to say, but the fact that it's a few women in the community and most of them are like attractive, that's not what I was expecting. Not that I was expecting, just a bunch of like slobs or something, but I don't know, it was overwhelming to me.
Well, when you say that, it's because, are you basing that on like you saw pictures of these girls and not know their personality? Because to me, anyone's more attractive if they agree with me about most things.
No, I didn't see any pictures. I just had heard that there was 3 men to every 1 woman, and there weren't a lot of women. That's all I had ever heard. And the only person I had ever really heard about was Renee. So it was just when I started coming.
How?
I don't
How
know.
does it mean?
People talk
When
about you, man.
These 2 were on Free Talk Live.
Well, I didn't know
and
about all of that
Allie
stuff.
Reasons, and I've got a list of shit that Allie's done here.
As Rob likes to tell everyone, I didn't get my PhD in Liberty before I moved, so I didn't know about all of that stuff. So even Ladies in Keene and ALP, I didn't know about until our first show.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of little shows that sprang up and kind of went away. But I mean, there's a lot of history that I'm sure even we don't know. But you don't need to know it in order to create your own.
That's true. We're creating history right now, guys. Awesome.
Ah, cool.
It really is true that, because people will call in to podcasts that have been around for a while and they'll ask, what's your secret? How do you get successful? And it's just really just showing up and continuing to do it.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem with most shows is they just, it's like for Ladies and Keen, we didn't show up for the first 3 episodes. We just like, we would be like drinking together and be like, oh yeah, the show's gonna be great! Tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, we're all gonna be there. And then like Sunday, like around noon, we'd be like, oh, we forgot. And then a couple times, and somehow Ian, I don't even remember him like getting angry about it, but yeah, like just one, I was like, this week for sure, Ian. And then I remember it was Sunday morning, and I almost forgot, but I set my alarm, so I woke up. I got there just in time. I felt like terrible. I was hungover, and I was like, we're doing the show. I'm the only one who shows up. And so Ian, I was like, I don't know, I don't feel good, Ian, what do I do? And he's like, I guess, we can try again next week. I was like, I think he kind of, I could tell he wanted me to try, so I was like, I'll do it. And so I did the first segment all by myself, like, welcome to this new show, it's Ladies and Keen.
But really, it's just Lady and Keen.
Yeah, Ladies and Keen.
See, the thing with time, you women, Jesus, I'm one of them, but I know we take a long time to get ready. It takes me like an hour to put on my shoes sometimes. I dread even thinking about putting on my shoes sometimes. So with Renee, I just say, be here between 12 and 10 p.m.
I need like an hour's worth of buffer. Like,
Yeah.
I was
More
fucking
like
late
4.
to Liberty Forum, for Christ's sakes. Like,
2 days. Renee is the first person in history to be 2 days late to something.
Whatever. We thought that 5 hours was a record. Fuck it, whole day.
Yeah, she was like 2 days late. So I just give her this long time frame. And then I know she'll come. This is the thing about Renee. Like I said, I can judge her on the past. I know she'll come eventually. I never doubt that. When she will come, even if it's days late, like that I don't know that part. So if it gets to that time, I'm just like, bitch, where are you? And that's what we can do with each other. Even today, I'm like, bitch, where are you? Like, I know you're here.
I
I
feel
know
tempted
you're
just to read the group message between us 4 about this event, because that's basically all
That is the best part. So all morning we were asking, where's Renee? Then somebody yells at me across the hotel saying, Renee told me to tell you that she's here.
And
then
no,
I
I
don't
didn't. I didn't ask him to do that.
We don't see you for hours and hours, and you're like, I'm here. No, you're not. I'm here. No, you're not. We just could not chase you down. You're so elusive.
Okay, so here's what I did this morning. I woke up, still feeling like shit. So I gotta take a shower, gotta relax, gotta make sure I look really fucking good because this is Liberty Forum, like no fucking around.
Exactly.
Mission
Gotta-
accomplished.
We got an image to uphold.
But yeah, took like, goddamn, I don't even know. I woke up at like 11:30, got down to business at like 1, made it out by 3. So I say I did okay.
I mean, you made it, and that's all that matters. Everyone should give Renee a hand clap for that because I'm very proud of her.
And did you
Gold
hit anyone
star.
on the way? Did you get into an accident?
No.
Is your car in worse shape now?
No, my car's okay.
So-
I don't know if I got into an accident with my car.
In
Are
like
you
2
still
weeks?
making
In
fun
2
of
weeks?
me?
Like it's been a few days since your last
my
accident.
God damn it. No, I was pissed because somebody fucking called my, some dude from an insurance company called my phone because some other asshole backed into me and he's like, oh, well, you owe us $600. And I'm like, bullshit I do, you fucking hit my car. So I had to go down to the police station and go get an accident report where the cop says, I'm not at fault and that motherfucker hit my car. But, cool story about that actually. So she's like, a copy of that will be $10. And I'm like, okay, cool. So she asked for my ID too, so I put the little ID and the $10 in the thing, and she copies the accident report.
She, like,
puts it
behind
back in
glass
the
or
whole
something?
thing. Yeah,
Okay.
like, you know, bureaucrat style. But she forgets to take the $10. So I realized, and I start to say, hey, did you forget that? And I'm like, wait, no, shh. I just run out of the police station. Someone else is in the car, and I'm just like, reef, gone. And he's like, what the fuck was that about?
Someone's like, she must have just got out of jail or something. Decided to be free.
I did. I hightailed it out of there because I didn't know if she was gonna be like, hey. I'm like, nope. See ya.
Well, while you were doing all that, we have been enjoying Liberty Forum. Well, I don't know, Ellie, I seen you for a little yesterday, but me and Ellen, for a matter of fact, we've been enjoying ourselves. We've been going to talks and partying, and Renee, the youngest, ironically, out of all of us, has just been like, no, I'm too tired.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, it's your fault.
Whatever.
That's what we gotta
Everyone,
say.
you guys are babies.
Alright, even being tired, like having a little sleep, being hungover, whatever it is, that is no excuse to not explore Liberty Forum. Like, there's so many great things going on here.
I mean, I met Vermin Supreme. I got a picture with him.
I thought I met Rams for, like, I've been around for a while.
And you haven't
So,
met him?
like,
Because you suck.
I have met
Oh,
Rams
okay. I
for,
thought you said
like,
you haven't.
multiple times. I've met almost, like, everyone here. I feel, like, Liberty Farm is exciting, you know? Like, I'm
So
happy
are
to
you
be
bored,
here,
Renee? Are you trying to tell us you're
but
bored?
I wouldn't say I'm bored, but, like, I've already met him.
I have a confession.
Okay.
Compared to Porkfest, I don't really care that much about Liberty Forum. And it's not because Liberty Forum isn't full of awesome people and not like a cool event. It's just that it's because of the style of event, it doesn't like cater to me like Porkfest does. Because you go into a room and you don't know who's going to be there, and you just need to get through. And sometimes it can be really crowded. It's not as bad this year as it was last year, where it's just like hallways just packed full of people, and you're running into tons of people you recognize, but you can't remember their name. And then, but you're like forced to be like right next to them, so you have to interact. I just don't like that. I like how at Porkfest you're like free range. You know, here I feel like a caged chicken. I'd rather
Oh,
be free
okay.
range.
I love when Allie's here to say exactly what's on my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if any of you saw the Keen Convention Ladies panel, but
It is a
I'm
little
kind of just
stuffy.
like, I don't really know how to say this, and Allie just kind of takes over and says, here, what Renee's trying to say is.
It's my first Liberty Forum, and the first night, well, I like to volunteer because I try to give back. I'm a terrible person still, but I tried to volunteer at the registration table, and when I first got here, I was a little surprised at the crowd, I guess, because everyone
Did you
always.
expect it to be a smaller event?
I did, and I didn't know the hotel was this way, and everyone always says Liberty Forum isn't for kids or is more of the adult, but I didn't know which crowd they meant. I didn't know they meant, like the people who are just here for, it was just a bunch of people here for fundraising and wearing suit ties, and I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that. But then I went to the Alt Expo Lounge, and then I was like, oh, okay, they have beer and pot and Agri's cooking. Okay, this is my type of
Yeah,
place.
that's like a whole secret realm that not many people get access to unless they're really looking for it, is the Alt Expo room. And like going from the lounge here into the Alt Expo room, it's like you cross over this barrier where all of a sudden your world is completely different. The whole, like the people there are different. It's just, I guess it's more of like a specific taste, but if you're looking for that kind of thing.
I mean,
it's really cool.
I'm just
It is more stuffy here though, like
Yeah.
I agree with what you guys were saying about that. Like there's just the same people you keep seeing over and over and over again.
I just always want to make friends, and I always want to meet new people. So it's been good meeting some people that I've only been friends with on Facebook, and them saying, "Oh, yeah, I've seen you on Facebook," and blah blah blah. And I think that's really cool because I literally like every person I meet. If I don't like you, it's probably because you're just.
I don't believe that's true. You like literally every person you
Every
meet.
person I meet, sure, I really do, and I love meeting people. That's my thing. I don't know.
You
I
have to
feel
like
like
really, so
unless they're a bitch,
I don't
that's
think
the
you
only
met
way.
everybody.
I was gonna say, like, you
met
never,
everybody.
you never like run into people who are just jerks to you, like,
Oh my
at
God.
work or anything?
If they are like a bitch, I probably, cause it was this one woman here. I'm not gonna say her name. Like I first met her, and her personality was just like, please don't fucking talk to me. Like I'm just.
That's what you were thinking.
No, that's what that's what her face was like. The most unapproachable person I've ever seen, and she just looked very, very angry. But I still kind of liked her, and I was just like, because she just seemed, even though she seemed like a bitch, she seemed like a very strong like presence, like a strong woman, and I liked that about her, and it wasn't something, you know, just because she's a bitch. She probably should loosen up and maybe someone could learn something from her. I kind of thought that, but I didn't dislike her because she was a bitch. Like, I knew she was. I could sense that. But I felt like...
Or at least in that moment she was acting.
No. She's a
Oh,
complete
you
bitch.
this
Oh,
is
my
like-
God. No.
That's how she looks 24/7.
Yeah, 24/7, and that's how she is. She's just not a nice person, and I never want to be like that. So, like I say all the time, every person I meet, I feel like I can learn something from them, even if I fucking hate them. I've just learned something from you.
Sometimes I like people who come across as bitchy, because it's almost like a challenge to me. Like, what do I have to do if you like?
Unless they're
It's a
insane.
lot harder.
Right. Unless they're actually like a fucking douchebag in this case, you know.
I try for efficiency. I'm like, well, you're too much work to make like me. Work on the next one.
I mean, yeah, I know. If someone's crazy, they're just crazy. There's no, there's nothing I can do about that but stay away.
Yeah, there's some people that you have to like appease them before they'll befriend you, and those are the kind of people that I don't enjoy spending time
I
with.
noticed that a lot of times the people who are like, well, they're just a jerk. They obviously don't like me. Is that they appreciate people who, like, you'll be a jerk to them back, and then now they want to be your friend. Because they respect that or something weird going on there. Like, they're like,
Oh, you're a
first
bitch as well.
You're all nice to them, and then you're like, actually, you know, every time I've been nice to that person, they haven't been nice back, I'm just going to ignore them now. And now they want to show their true friendly colors.
Yeah, that's odd. That's never happened to me.
Make them
Really?
work for you.
Yeah.
It's because Ellen's a sweetheart. She's like,
Ellen's just always nice.
I know.
Am
Doesn't
I
get
don't know.
tired.
I mean,
I can be mean sometimes.
What did you even mean?
Yeah,
I know.
maybe one time.
Earlier today, you thought I was being mean to you, and
No, I just thought you
I
were.
wasn't really. But
I was just
didn't
mad at
see
you
that
because
way.
you didn't read my message, and then you responded in a way that was apparent you hadn't read my message.
girls. Well, as I said before. Well, I have
I
one
didn't think you were
question.
being mean. I never have perceived you as being mean. Sometimes you can be a little bit like if I could personify you, what I'm seeing in the moment, which is probably just something I made up in my head as a defense mechanism, is that sometimes, like, if you and I disagree about something, then my impression of you in that moment, not that you say this, but you're like, yeah, I know what you're trying to say, but what about this? Yeah, I get that, but have you thought about this? Okay, sure, right. But this is what you should be focusing on. I'm like, yeah, and then I do the same thing.
Yeah. So you're saying that I think I know better than you?
Yeah, we're having like, who knows better than the other one.
Well, you're
argument.
both just super intelligent, so. Well, Ellen,
I think it's good that we argue, though.
this is something that's funny about Ellen. Because she might argue with you, but she's just so sweet-faced that it's just like, what did she really do? And only time I've ever been mad at you is you walk really fast, and I don't like walking beside you. So, because you're so tall, you're so tall, it's ridiculous, and I just don't want to be beside you. That's the only time I was like, okay, Ellen, like, I'll meet you wherever you're going.
Yeah, so if it's like a particular time, like when we were in the mall, are you talking about when we were in the mall?
No, she's talking about earlier today and all day yesterday.
Because I remember bitching about it in the mall too. She was also wearing like a really tight dress.
I
and
hate
she's, like,
tall
trying to
people.
run in a tight
And
dress.
Ellen's walking so fast, and she looks behind, and she goes, why are you going so slow? And I was like, well, I don't know. And then you were like, well, you can't stop when you're trying to be a leader. And like, she like flips her hair and like walks. I'm like, something's wrong with you.
Well, what did I say? It was like, you have to be a leader by not turning back.
Yeah, you can't turn back. I have to be a leader. I was like, okay, Ellen, I'll meet you then.
I thought it was gonna be, she turns around, she's like, oh, were you following me?
Do you want my autograph? I have one question. Well, I guess not for Renee. Both of you guys have left Keene. So, what was your reason for leaving? And when is Renee gonna leave and move to Manchester? So you can go in order from Ellen to.
Okay, well, first of all, I never lived in Keene. I actually lived in Winchester, which is like a 20-25 minute drive away from Keene. I spent some time there, but I moved away mostly because I guess there's just like my living situation wasn't great, and I wanted to find a better job, and I did. I found both of those things, and I'm actually glad that I moved away because there's this whole series of events that led me to where I am now. So, I mean, if it was different, then I don't know how it would have turned out, but I mean, it's not that I felt particularly burned by Keene like some people do. I felt like I kind of wanted to do something different and more productive with my time. Like, not to say that it's unproductive to spend all of your time, doing activism, but I mean, it's productive in a way, but not in the way that I wanted to be, which is more, I guess I was focusing on my career at that point and trying to, improve that and not so much activism.
Okay, Ellen.
My answer's gonna sound too similar to Ellen's, but it was like, I didn't really have much media stuff going on at the time, and it was kind of was petering out, and then I had this job that required me to travel all over New Hampshire, and I didn't realize that Keene is, there's nothing around it where anyone wants to be, you know? Like, that's the problem with Keene, is that you're gonna have to drive through a lot of nothing to get there. And once you're there, it's great, but there's nothing in between Keene and Manchester or anywhere else. So I was having to drive, like, my days were just way too long to have to always drive back to Keene on that same damn road. It's like one lane, and you can't pass people, and all going slow. So I was frustrated by that. And then, so I wanted to go somewhere more central, and I went from Keene to Alton Bay to Manchester. And so far, Manchester is my favorite place to be. So
Oh yeah, Manch Vegas, baby.
yeah.
I don't know how you guys can live here though.
Why?
There's so much traffic.
I agree.
Oh
You know, too
God,
many
no, it's
cars,
not.
too many people. It's all so congested.
That's not true.
Yeah,
So
There's really a lot more traffic here than I mean,
Yeah, it's way more than I'm used to, and the
It's
city
annoying.
is sprawling.
You
It's
live in
it's
Lake
miles and
Elizabeth.
miles long.
there's
There's too many things. It's so close to. You can have no peace and quiet. There's nowhere that you can go.
that
to
is
just, like,
not whatsoever true.
And
I
Okay,
almost
where
been
do
like
you
5
guys
hours.
live? You live in an
I
apartment
live
building on
right
a very
bes-
busy street.
right beside downtown, first of all, and it's not that busy. I mean, I guess if you're gonna go to lunch at 12, like you did yesterday, it's gonna be more traffic. And plus, it's spring break and the weekend. But usually, it's
everywhere
not
you go,
bad. It's
you're
not like
within
it's
walking
Boston.
distance of being mugged.
I mean, I can't really argue with that one, seeing as the events that happened yesterday. But like I
Plus the
said,
rate tunnel. You
I-
have a rate tunnel next to your house.
I've never seen anyone get mugged. I know it's happened to some people, but I like Manchester, and I came from Boston, which if you want to talk about traffic, Jesus,
yeah.
like no. And then from there, before that, I was in Georgia, and it doesn't seem any worse. And I like the mix. It's not such a big town, because I can see why people don't want to live in cities. But it's a city, but it's not that big. So I feel like it's a small town sometimes, because I can walk all through downtown from my house, which is great. I don't think that's too city. I don't see a giant sicko sign every time I walk out the
Well,
door.
it's also because like they're not from here, so they're using Elm Street, which is like the street that always has the most traffic on it, and all the crosswalks and pedestrians and
But then
people
all
who are
the
trying to
stop
mock you.
signs.
And so
all the
they
stop
don't,
signs you have to drive
they don't
through
know
just to go
that.
like 4 blocks.
No, you don't know. Like there's different ways that people who live here after a while, you learn how to get places efficiently where there's less traffic.
I
Every
don't.
once in a while you'll hit traffic, but I really don't think that there's.
I
more
don't
that
consider
experience
this a
in
city. If I can walk downtown in 5 minutes and there be no one, there be no one on the street but me, is not. I don't consider it a city. If I can walk somewhere and I'm the only person on the street, it's not a big city.
I don't know. Every time I go to the Quill, there's always people out on the stoop when I walk down the road. Like
What?
there's always someone.
Oh, and on other people's streets?
Well, I mean, like I park down the road, I walk down the street, and I pass several people, and they're all like drunk or yelling or something.
They're having a good time, man. Don't judge them.
I'm
Yeah,
just
but
saying,
there's
there's never any
never-
quiet. There's never any quiet.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard. Okay, my friend Tila, who stayed with me the other night from Vermont, she said it was really quiet. She said that it was surprisingly quiet. Because our apartment is not in the best neighborhood.
Wait, you said
and
she's from New York?
She's from Vermont.
Okay.
Our apartment is maybe not in the best neighborhood, but it's not in the worst neighborhood either. And sometimes you do hear a gunshot or two. But it might be a firecracker. I don't know. I've never investigated.
That is the thing that scares me about Manchester is that
People setting off firecrackers.
they, yeah.
For no reason. I don't know.
There is a restaurant that has fireworks every night, I guess, or like every once a week or something like that.
Oh, really? Maybe that's what I'm hearing. I'm like, someone's getting shot every week.
Maybe. But I mean, and I don't know if it's, I don't know like the rates. I would guess, I would probably put money on Manchester probably having more crime than any other place in, any other town in New
Oh
Hampshire.
yeah, I'm sure it is.
I mean, it's the biggest.
But yeah, but if you factor in like amount of like per capita, I don't know if it would be the same. But I always hear like horror stories from other people who live in rural New Hampshire being like, oh, you gotta really watch out for Manchester. I know someone who got murdered there. And it's like,
I know someone who got murdered, like,
like, they said the same thing about moving to the north from the south. You gotta watch out for those northerners. You can't trust them. Don't trust anybody up there. It's like, they were all wrong. There's way more trustworthy people
I mean,
since I moved here.
I'm really into Manchester. I mean, I guess my opinion is biased, but I'm really into Manchester. I feel it's the great mix for me, especially coming from a super, super small town, then moving straight into the heart of Boston. Manchester is that perfect mix for me. I feel like it has everything that I could ever want. I never want to live someplace that's very clogged and has like so many annoying people. But I love Manchester, and I think the community's strong. And if the zombie apocalypse happens, this is the place you're gonna want.
I don't know
Right
about
where all
that.
the people are.
I don't know if I'd want to be here for the zombie apocalypse. 'Cause
Okay,
there'd be
well,
way
we'll
more
just-
zombies here and less people with like.
We'll just agree
a
on
safe place.
New Hampshire.
You know, zombie apocalypse goes down, I'm cleaning the ground.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
Or somewhere way up north, like
So-
Yeah,
Montreal.
like Alton or something.
Renee, what
No, I
about
would go like up to Canada.
Why?
Canadian zombies, man? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's less of a population of them.
I'm not, no. You can
I'll eat your
up to
brains,
it.
eh?
At least they would have cool accents as they were eating.
No, no.
Because zombies
no,
can
no,
talk.
no.
Okay, back. So I am biased about Manchester, but I do love Manchester, and I mean I like Keene too. This is my thing. I like going to Keene, mostly because Renee is there, and like when I'm going there, usually something's happening, I guess, and Derek J, and he's cool, and Ian, I guess. But I don't like Keene specifically. I don't like the town of Keene.
I have the same opinion. Basically, I love, like, some of my very favorite people on the planet live in Keene.
Yeah.
But just, unfortunately, the town is like, you know, just visit for, I don't know, my problem with living there was that I noticed when I actually went there that they got more stores, like there's more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see, my thing is I like to, every girl has like their thing that they're willing to like spend way too much money on, like just screw the budget because I want it. And my thing is makeup. And so there's no store like that. Now they have one, but it's fucking new. It wasn't there the whole time I was there. They built it like
They
right
only
after I
have
left.
one makeup store? See, that is just, that's
Dude, no. Ulta is
No.
like, it's fucking heaven.
It is, but they didn't have it before I was there. They didn't have anything even like it. Target was the best place to go to get makeup. So I like out Manchester, I never have to worry about anything like that.
That's
because
true.
even in
There's
Manchester,
Sephora.
they have it, Nashua will, and it's only 30 minutes away.
Yeah, but you also have the Mall of New Hampshire here, and there's like several other plazas, so you can find pretty much anything.
there are
here.
plenty
I
of
guess you wouldn't
shopping.
have to go anywhere else unless you were ordering like ALP classes.
Yeah, you don't have to drive nearly as much. You save so much money in gas.
And
you
I'm-
shop around for deals. It's like in Keene, it was like, oh my god, I found the thing I wanted. Great, I'll buy it because I probably won't run into this again.
And then there's nothing else around Keene. It's Keene. And for a certain point, whenever I'm driving to Keene, my phone loses service. And that's not a place I want to be. I'm sorry. There's like there's no other cars on the road. And it's just like, where am I going? Like I'm glad I'm going to see you because there's no other reason I'd be here.
And don't you have fucking AT&T or something like that?
No, I have T-Mobile.
Yeah, their service fucking sucks everywhere.
Keene sucks.
Don't even believe. That is not even
I
close
think a
to-
lot of people that live in Keene are also jaded and like very negative.
What?
It's-
Am I not? Come
Just
on.
walking down the
I don't
road,
know.
you feel uncomfortable. Like everybody seems very tense.
I don't do that.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't do that.
So do you want to stay in Keene forever? Or do you think
Yeah.
Manchester is the other
I'm obviously anchored in Keene. Like, I like it.
It's not obvious to me.
And it's not obvious. Well, why the fuck would I move an hour away?
I mean,
Like, why do that when I could just drive?
I think you should move because like an hour,
Or you wouldn't have to
15
drive.
to 30 minutes, hour, 30 minutes away.
In Manchester, I can go to Nashua, I can go to all the other places around it. In Keene, I gotta drive an hour just to get to the nearest, like, something else.
Okay, the only thing that I'm upset that Keene does not have is the Trader Joe's. There are Trader Joe's here.
Okay, no. So, Manchester, up your game. But they have other, like, food
There's a
bars.
co-op there. There is a co-op.
Oh, yeah, we have Shire
in
Co-op.
Keene.
Oh, really?
And the Keene Co-op is, again, heaven.
It is very good. I used to go grocery shopping there, and it's ridiculously expensive. But there's food there that I can't buy anywhere else.
It's not even that bad. I mean, and they have smoothies in there, like little Mickey smoothie.
But, okay, I'm not gonna say leave Keene, but do you
No.
think the heyday in Keene, because it's obviously not what it used to be when you guys were there, which I don't know what it used to be. Tell me.
It's funny that you say that because that's what they all said to me, like when I was in Keene. It's not like it used to be. So I don't know if know if
Do you
Keen's
think-
on a perpetual decline as far as
Do you think the
awesomeness,
South will
or
rise?
just
Oh, I mean,
everyone
Keene.
has this good old days mentality
I
about
don't
everything?
know. I think everybody has that good old days mentality.
Yeah.
Because I remember from my experiences, when I first moved there in 2012, it seemed like there was a rise in Keene popularity. There was like all this media that was coming out, and there was new, and there was this activism that was being promoted constantly. And maybe it was just because I was taking part in it, or I was paying attention finally. I don't know, but then at some point it started going on a decline, and people started moving away and getting up. There was all this drama, and it was just like, I feel like I've already seen a rise and fall of an empire. But other people think that too. So it's all, like,
But
it depends on who you are and what
there
you're
are
saying.
more people moving. We have a remover to Keene and Mullins.
I mean, yeah, I know people are moving to Keene, but I mean,
It's
doing
still
things.
active.
I mean, doing things.
Keene represents.
Okay,
I've met a couple people in this Liberty Forum who were like, I'm planning to move for the Free State Project, I'm going to Keene. And I support that, because that's what I did.
I mean, if you want to, I just mean actually, because I find it funny when people say, oh, in Manchester, no one's doing anything. And I'm just like, well, I mean, people try to do things. And we
Like
probably
what?
do more things than some people.
Like what?
Like we go do school outreach, we go hand out 420 flyers, we go around to businesses and talk about Bitcoin and try to get them to accept Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We actually do something, if not every week, every other week. So we're actually like doing something. There are activists still out there trying to do something.
You know what?
And I know people are like, they're gonna move to Keene to be in your face activists, but is any of that still happening? And that's my question, like
Of
right
course
now.
there is. And also, I would like to point out that there's a lot of stuff that goes on in Concord. People will go to the State House. You'll usually see like 1 or 2, maybe 3 Nash people showing up for important bills that are going through the House.
Yeah, well, that's a different kind of activism. There's like,
But we have like a crew of people going from Keene, which is like an hour and a half away, where it's like what?
To go support the bills. I mean, I thought a lot of people though went to go to the State House, and a lot of the state reps.
Not
Are-
See,
serious.
when I lived in Keene, I didn't really go to that many events because I haven't ever done the agorist job thing. The hard thing about being an agorist, it seems, is to be responsible for yourself and not have anyone like watching over your shoulder. But I think that's what appeals about it to a lot of people. But I always had like a job where I had to clock in, so I couldn't just go to these events. I noticed in Manchester, it's more people have clock-in jobs, or just I have to be there at a certain time. And at Keene, from what I could see, not a lot of people had those kind of jobs.
Well, their job was like being an activist, and I think.
So
Well, just from the
agorist-
outside looking in, it seems like I said this a lot that people. Oh, it seems like they don't have jobs, or their job is, I guess, to be an activist, or they're a starving activist.
Well, if you have a group of people in a town where their job is to be an activist, then yeah, they better be showing up to Concord, kind of thing. It's like, well, that's your job.
yeah, and a lot of
But they don't get paid for it, which
a lot of
also
people
could be a
who make
problem.
their living on activism did just do solely that. And actually, I think everybody's been through a period of like something like that where they just did the activism while they were in between jobs. And like once you have more free time, you want to be doing that. But
Okay.
like sometimes you have to give up the activism to pursue other dreams.
So
And I also
what
want
about
to say,
people-
I just want to clarify, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm dissing people who don't have official jobs in Keene. I'm blown away that people, like, I've known people there, and I've never known them to, like, have a real job, whatever that means. They've always just done, like, the agorist thing. They're somehow, like, making it by. I don't know how. Like, I'm just surprised. that
Yeah, that's what's
they can
surprising.
Yeah,
continue
it is
to continue
impressive.
that way.
Yeah,
I, like,
there's a lot of
envy
work
them.
to it.
I
So
don't think I could do what they do.
what about those people who I'm not even talking about Keene anymore, leave maybe like the Free State Project, or because they say like being an activist burned them out, being an activist because they got arrested or they
It was
can't
not
get a
the
job.
Activism. I think in most cases it's just people have issues with other people in the movement, and there's a lot of arguments that go on. I think the activism isn't really what turns them.
Have you seen a decline in people going from activists to, okay, now I'm just gonna run away and go to Cuba, or I'm gonna go to live in another country until things get
Sure.
better?
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that just decide to run away and change their life again. And I've actually known people who've done that. But I mean, you can't really blame them if they found that they didn't feel welcome in some way. Then they're probably gonna go find some place where they'll fit in better.
So I don't blame people for leaving. I just kind of find it, I don't know the word to use. When they say they're leaving and they blame their respective parts for the reason that, well, if I wasn't an activist and I didn't do this for this amount of time, then I could have had a better life. But I feel people sometimes don't take personal responsibility when they leave, and they try to blame it on, like, you made your own life choices. You can't really, I mean, you chose to do whatever you did to spread liberty. And if you were doing it for the right reasons, maybe, I mean, if you feel bad about it, it's still your choice. It was still your choice. It's always your choice.
Do you think some people come here thinking with the attitude that as long as they devote themselves, whatever that means to them, to the cause of liberty, that they will somehow be taken care of, and if they feel like they're not being taken care of by others, then they've been wronged or cheated out?
Oh my God.
Or something?
I see too many people like that, and those are the people who need to be leaving. And I guess, in a way, I look at this as the party. Oh, well, the people who left the party probably weren't any fun anyway, so now the party's going to get better. So those people who are like, oh, well, now I'm going to leave because, or I don't want to be here anymore because I'm not getting enough recognition, or people aren't kissing the ground I walk on. I don't know what they expect, but you should be doing it because you want to do it. Anything I do is because I want to do, not because I expect anyone to, like, if I don't get name recognition, I'm going to get a sore thumb and be like, oh, like, what in the say I wrote this.
That is more the exception to the rule than the rule itself. I know there has been people in the past who moved here and they do activism and then they expect free rent and, you know, like, everybody to support them, but that doesn't happen that often. There's only a select few people who do that, and they generally end up getting a bad reputation for that because, you know, we moved here to be self-reliant, not to, you know, just support people because they're activists. You know, and I feel like there's a lot of people accusing other people of that currently, where they're saying, yeah, you know, like, you're an activist, so it doesn't matter what you do as long as you do things for liberty.
I mean, to an extent, you still have to. We don't live in the world that we wish. We have to make it that way. So you can't live in this imaginary land where you expect all those those things, you still have to live.
Well,
you have to be able to get to fulfill your basic level of needs. You have to be able to eat, sleep, piss somewhere. Those are things you need. So, I mean, I love liberty. I want to promote liberty, but I am realistic. I need a job.
Well, see, that's the thing is that, yeah, I agree in essence. Like, I feel the same way. Like, I need shelter and food and all these things, but really when it comes down to it, like, the universe provides. So it's really, when people are saying, I'm not getting, I'm doing this activism, I'm doing all these selfless things for all y'all so you can be free, and now look at me and my poor living conditions. It's just, well, you seem fine to me, and are you doing what you love? If you are, then you seem better than most people. So you're actually really well off.
That is a good point. I think, a lot of people are not appreciative of what's offered to them.
Yeah, I think it's like a lack of appreciation for what they do have. And I also always wonder for those people, could you be as well off as you are doing what you're doing anywhere else besides where you are right now? And if you could, then just go there. Like, I would just encourage people to go wherever they're going to feel the most free, even if it's not New Hampshire.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree. Because it's all about living, too. I tell people that all the time. Like, whatever I'm doing, I definitely want to be free, but I also want to live my life. So that's why I live the way I do. I feel like I want to live as free as possible. And the moment I'm not doing that and I'm stressing about something, that's not something I'm going to do anymore. I'm going to remove it. So I definitely get that, but...
That's an interesting way to concept of freedom. It sounds like the way you put that is that freedom is when you don't feel stressed. Do you agree with that?
Are you saying freedom from stress, or are you just using your freedom to escape stress?
Well, anything that's unpleasant, I guess. Stress. Stress is the word that I want to use. I do agree with that. I'm the type of person that if something is not benefiting my life, including people, that is something I don't need or no longer feel a part of. And some people look at my view as very extreme because I feel this way about people too. I feel that if you wrong me, if you're not bringing anything positive into my life, only negative, and you're implementing stress of any way, shape, or form, you know, I don't need you in my life. We don't need mediation. We don't need to work it out. You no longer exist to me as a person, and that's it. It's done.
Different side of him in the beginning of the show.
It's like people magically delete themselves from my brain sometimes. I choose not to associate with anyone who is a negative person and brings nothing but stress. I don't need that person.
Are you saying you say you like everyone, then you say you just delete them from your
I do like everyone. And if you are that person, like I said, like the woman who was a bitch. Okay, she's a bitch. She's as herself as a person. But she's never wronged me. She doesn't bring me any stress. Just because she's a bitch in
What about
general.
other people though? Like what if she wrongs other people? Would that make a difference?
If she wronged other people, I mean, it's all about reputation as well. But I mean, myself directly. I can't get stressed because someone that I can't get stressed because a third party is giving you stress.
Oh, I have a good question for all y'all ladies. How do you feel New Hampshire in the Liberty community here measures up as far as making people's reputation control? Like when someone has a really bad reputation, are they good about letting you know before you conduct business with them?
I feel like people are scared. I feel like people are scared sometimes to say what they really think about people. And that kind of scares me because I do think, it's what you said, reputation is everything. I think there should be a system where you can go and write about people's reputations and rank them, and you can choose.
I have this idea.
You can choose whether or not to associate with someone, because that's really what it's about, your choice to associate with someone or not. So I guess it depends on reputation in a sense. Some people are still going to want to know for themselves, but I do think reputation is what it's all about. That's how I'm going to communicate with you. You had a great reputation. No one was saying anything negative about you.
I'm always wondering what people are saying.
No one was ever saying anything negative about you. You can say your name and it's always going to be something positive. And
Like what would they say?
well, they mostly say that you're Brent Benot's girlfriend.
Well, that's a compliment.
No, they say you're intelligent and you're smart and you're very pretty. So I like that, and I like to hear stuff like that. If they say you're a bitch, it depends on who's saying it. First of all, I do try to see for myself, but what's your idea of this reputation system?
I try to gather every side of the situation. I don't like just take specific people's examples.
Yes. So here's my idea, and I welcome anyone listening to this to steal my idea because I don't really want to do. I just want it to exist. It's called slam book. You know, like when in class, like in school, you would have like, you know, y'all get in trouble because there'd be word that there's some like book going around, people will write about each other, you know, like a kiss and tell book, but that's not what the website's about. I mean, maybe that would be involved.
Okay.
But basically, you know, everyone would have a page and there'd be some system for avoiding duplicates, you know, where once someone's written about you, you're in there. And, you know, and also people, when they hear me talk about this, they're gonna be like, well, I can see all kinds of problems with that. But there's lots of problems for new ideas, and they get worked out because the market provides. But this idea, I think, is great because there shouldn't be any censorship. Anyone should be able to post anything, but each user only gets a limited amount of like if you're posting a bunch of negative reviews, but basically you hate everyone and you're just like trying to trash everyone's reputation, then like basically that shows
Maybe you
on your profile.
Maybe
like,
you can get a reputation for rating people.
Yeah, so your rating is a reputation about you and yourself. Like if I'm on there and I'm always leaving negative reviews about people, then that will show in my, maybe like under my little username I'll say like negative Nancy, or there'll be some way to like to show that this person tends to be a pessimist or just really judgmental and overly judgmental about people. And then if someone's like never written a negative review about anyone, only says positive things, then that will also show. So when they say something negative about someone in their review, you know they mean it, because they don't usually leave negative reviews. It's a great idea. Someone should start it.
I agree.
It's a great idea.
I agree. Steve?
Yeah, because I think
You're
that's
not
what
a-
everybody's afraid of is getting known for being the person who passes on judgment about other people.
Yeah, that's the thing that sucks too, is that if I don't know someone, like, say I saw you talking to someone who I had like a bad reputation with, Anne, and I just came up to you and said, hey Anne, I know we don't really know each other, but I've dealt with that person before and I had a bad experience. Maybe you talk to the other person I'm telling you about more than you have me, so you feel a stronger bond to them you don't realize I'm not a shit talker. Like, I'm not someone who just comes up and does that to people.
But I mean, I
So
feel
you
like
would know how to
it.
weigh what I have to say. You would just feel kind of mixed up. Like, I know. I remember like that. Like you're saying, a lot of people are afraid to say anything.
Mhm.
I've gotten that too, where I'm like, I'm kind of surprised. And sometimes people will be in positions where you think if they are doing this, then they must be reputable. But
Yeah.
that's not always the case.
Oh, definitely not. And it's just the other thing with that is I feel like it would be such a great idea because it is that system where people are keyboard warriors in this community especially. So no one's gonna be afraid to talk shit or just say things like that online versus
yeah.
to someone else's face, which is probably not the best like way about it because I do have something about it. Come on, just say it to people's faces. But I mean, in this community especially when people threaten to ruin your reputation, which I mean, I've had someone say that to me before. I'm gonna ruin your reputation. All those people that you want to know, I know them.
Reputation.
And I am so important, I can get them never to talk to you again. Like, I've had someone actually say that to me, and I just felt like, okay, well, that's fine, because if that person chooses to think that way about me because of something your batshit crazy ass said to them, then fine. Obviously, that's not the
And
greatest.
that's also important. That's an important reason why people need to know everybody's reputation, because like, how can you trust what somebody's saying about somebody else? You know.
Well, you can kind of tell by their manner of saying it. Like, you can tell sometimes with some people, like, if they're getting off on making you think poorly about someone they just met, then maybe that's just their thing. They like to do that. And if someone, you can sense, like, are they concerned about me? Do they just really hate this other person? They want to make sure they don't get any friends, or what is it?
They definitely expose themselves to that extent as well, because if you're constantly trolling somebody and saying what's so wrong with them and everything they do, it's just gonna make you look like an asshole at the end of the day. So now everyone's gonna see who you are. It doesn't matter what you're even saying anymore after that point.
Yeah, a lot of times people who I really can't stand will come up with a conversation, and I'll just not say anything about them because, like, I don't want to be the person that's always, every time that person comes up, I have something to say.
Yeah.
So
what if it's like a business decision? Would you be the one to be like, hey, now, I don't know if you really want to do business with that
it would
person.
totally depend on how much I care about the person. Like, there's some people I dislike so much that I withhold my opinion about them just so, because I don't like talking. I don't like how I feel when I talk about the person.
Mhm.
So I only would do it if I'm talking to someone I really care about.
Yeah, it's hard to pass on like objective judgment, especially when you have strong feelings about somebody, because you have to like, if you're going to say something bad about them, you have to realize, like, I'm probably going to be more harsh just because I have these feelings. So just cut it down to like the facts.
Yeah, and how people receive the information about someone's reputation is important too. Like, if you tell someone, I really can't stand that person, and they're like, oh, they seem okay to me, they're nice to me, that's like the worst thing is when you're like, well, of course they're nice to you, you haven't gotten their bad side yet.
Yeah. And
Like,
and
that's
with you-
usually how assholes are, is like, they're nice to you until whatever everyone's talking about that's bad about them happens.
and then they're fucked and they wish they would have listened. I mean, this has nothing to do with this, but it just reminds me, when I was going to Vegas, I was booking a flight through Spirit fucking Airlines, and I had went on Yelp to read reviews about it, and there was 15 reviews about, like 15 pages of reviews about how this airline sucked, and how they overcharge you, and their flights were 2 days late.
What airline?
Spirit. Never take Spirit. Now they overcharge you, and I was like, well, even though there's 15 pages of this, I was like, well, I mean, it can't be that bad. It
Wait,
can't
that's
be.
the best deal?
I mean,
I assume that's why you
at first it had the best deal, but which I should have listened, but that's the moral of the story. It seemed like they had the best deal, but they charge you as soon as you get there for $100 for a carry-on bag, and it's just like these little, oh my gosh,
They charge you for carry-on
carry-on bags.
That is
Crazy.
ridiculous.
But I've been reading these 15 pages of reviews. I'm like, it can't be that bad. So it's basically me saying, oh, well, they haven't wronged me. It can't be that bad. Go to the airport early. I try to go like 3 hours early. I'm obsessive about time. And the time comes for the plane to take off, and they say, well, we're going to be delayed. Okay, that's fine. One delay. So we finally get on the plane. It says an hour. We finally get on the plane at 12. We fly to another stop. They have to stop the plane in Texas, and they didn't hire another pilot to do the other plane to take us to Vegas. So I was stuck in Dallas for 2 days. Not 1 hour layover. I was laid over in Dallas for 2 days because this fucking airline could not find a pilot for their plane.
Why didn't you just skip? Why didn't
No,
you
and
go
then-
to a different airline?
And mind you, they gave us a hotel for 3 hours, and then when I was at the hotel, they go, oh, well, you can't get any of your money back or a refund because it takes us too long to process. It would take a month for you to get it back.
Oh my
And we can't help you fly on any other plane because guess what? We're Spirit and we're cheap and you got what you paid for. That's basically what they told me. That you got what you paid for. So after that experience, I was like, I did. I had paid to be in Vegas for those 3 days that I missed. All expenses paid. And if I would have just read that Yelp review that said, you know what, this airline fucking sucks. But instead I was like, well, they haven't wronged me. And ever since then, I was like, I'm not going to take those chances again.
No, that's a perfect analogy for like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to take those chances again because guess
How
what?
people
I
are
really
about
paid for it.
Yeah, those reviews were not written for nothing. They were written to warn you. You know, like, don't go on this airline.
I actually can't think of any examples, if we're bringing back reputation of people, where I've been like, oh man, everyone just hates this person, but you know what? They're really great. I don't know what everyone's talking about. I have no idea why everyone hates this person. Like, it always turns out that I'm go to the other side and realize, oh,
I
that's
mean,
why.
yeah, people.
If you stick around long enough, you'll figure it out. You'll be like,
There has to be
okay,
one common denominator in the situation, and that's just kind of why I started looking at it. I know it has nothing to do with people, but I should have trusted this system of a bunch of people versus just saying, oh, well, they haven't wronged me because.
Well, then again, there are some people where there's some people that say that, oh, they're terrible, I hate them, I can't stand them, and then, you know, there's like this other group of people that say, yeah, they're my good friend. I actually enjoy spending time with them. So you get mixed reviews, you don't really know who to believe. It's like that situation is kind of confusing.
Well,
because
people
you
also
spend more time.
compartmentalize, like the way someone might be, like if you asked a lot of people, if you asked their family what the person's like, you would get a different answer than if you asked the person's coworkers what that person's like. Because people play different roles depending on who they're around and what they're doing. Some people are probably very different. I've heard this a lot, that people are very different since they moved to New Hampshire, because it's a different environment. So they feel like their character and personality is different. So yeah, I think people have the capacity to change, but if it's like the same context, they tend to do just the thing that comes most naturally to them.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's kind of what makes it pretty consistent. If
Yeah, that's true.
if people tend towards conflict, then that's what will tend to happen to that person.
And it's also miserable people love other miserable people. So sometimes I feel like if they're not really saying anything bad about somebody, but you know they're a horrible person, at first I thought I should just look within myself. Maybe I think they're a horrible person for the wrong reason. So I do try to maybe observe it differently, but you're right. Eventually everyone's true colors show. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter when they come out. It might be at the worst possible time, but eventually.
There are some cases where you can judge people based on who they spend time around, but then again, you know, I've known, you know, like stop free keeners that I was friends with for a while, and they were like, I can't believe you're part of the 3-State Project, what did you do? And, you know, like, eventually they got over it because they knew me as a person.
Oh,
But,
really?
Yeah, that was.
But didn't all those
that
people,
really didn't much
those are your coworkers, right? The one
Yes.
you talk, yeah, but they all end up being assholes.
Just one of them, actually. I actually had 2 coworkers there that I'm still friends with.
Oh, okay.
They weren't stop free keeners. They just didn't like the whole idea of, you know, the free keen movement. So you know, it really does depend on like your personality, I guess. And like sometimes if a person knows you as a person before they get to know who you spend time with, then they'll probably like you more, regardless of whether or not they like the people you spend time with. But I mean, then again, there are some things that you can see. Like if one person is hanging out with juggalos, like that's probably not a great person to, you know, spend a few hours with every day.
It's not a good sign.
No, when would it ever be? When has anybody ever said like, oh, I'm so glad the juggalos are here?
Can you please tell me what a juggalo is? I am a little
Renee,
confused.
explain what a juggalo is.
God damn it, do I have to?
Yes.
Okay, a group of idiotic, fucking hatchet-carrying wannabe clowns who,
ICP, you mean?
yeah, they basically worship this stupid fucking rap group called ICP.
Insane clown posse. I know
Yeah,
that.
they're all for violence and doing drugs, which always.
And do the Stop Freaking people endorse this? Are you guys worse than the Juggalos? Or are you guys the Juggalos to them?
Well, there was one former Juggalo who was like associated with Freaking for a while, so I think we like that shit. But I don't know. Like I can't make like I mean, yes, no.
I always thought that the Juggalos were just people who spent time at Railroad Square. I'm not really sure what the hatchet was for.
That sounds like a funny name. I think of
violence,
Gigolo.
maybe.
Have you seen the Hatchet Man?
I have seen it.
It's their logo for ICP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I just I'm not really sure what the logo is supposed to represent beyond that. Like, what does it stand?
I think there's a song about the Hatchet Man, and yeah, you bring up how they're violent. It's like I wasn't quite clear because most groups might have violent people in them, and it's tempting to be like, so your group's all about violence, right? But not necessarily. But I've asked a lot of Juggalos, like.
You know a lot of Juggalos.
I've asked, yeah, because when I lived in Keene, they used to be my customers at my convenience store I worked at.
Fago.
Not my convenience store. Yeah, because we sold Fago there, and that's their drink of choice. And because I guess in Insane Clown Posse video, like in one of their videos, they like squirt.
They spray Fago at their
Squirt
concerts.
Fago everywhere, and so now
Is
it's
this
like,
just a New Hampshire thing?
no, it's
No,
Juggalo
it's-
wide, and Juggalo is like there was a Juggalo that died in Keene. Multiple of them died while in the 3 years I was there. It was like they're dropping like flies, and they would buy like tons and tons of Fago, like cases of it, so they could spray it at the funeral. Does that sound weird to you?
I was there.
That sounds like the weirdest thing
I
I've
guess
ever
we need to
heard.
honor people in the way they would like, and maybe those people would like that. But I just found that really weird.
I have a confession.
I think
Please
it's for everybody
confess.
to spring the finger.
You like Fago?
No.
Okay, what are you gonna
I mean,
say?
it's not that bad, but it's not like to, whatever. So, for a short period of time, I was a juggalette, if you will.
You call it
Or at least I
what?
want to be a juggalette.
Okay, so what did that mean to you?
Yeah,
what
what-
role did you take
What
on?
were you?
Well, first of all, I was doing a lot of drugs. I don't know, I just got caught up in the wrong crowd. I was
What kind of drugs?
13.
Okay.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
snorting oxycodone and just smoking a bunch of weed, which I grew up around smoking a bunch of weed, but, like, I don't know, like, there was some coke at the
So
time.
a juggalette is a girl.
Yeah, juggalette, aka juggaho. They also refer to them as hood rats. I was okay
Juggaho
with being
sounds so
referred
much
to as
worse.
a hood rat.
So
growing
is
up.
this
Oh
a
my
gang?
I would call it a gang. I mean, they fly their flags or whatever. I don't even mind. Why am I calling it a flag? They'll fly the bandanas out of their pocket and choose like different colors.
But they're okay
Are
with
they
fire.
different colors, not one set color?
Can you
well,
tell
there
a
are
juggalo?
two-
Can you point one out on the
Yeah.
street? Like,
Yes.
that guy's a juggalo.
Yes. There are the two main groups are actually Bloods and Crips. That's their thing. Like they're in that shit.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm from Georgia, and I don't mean to insult you juggalos of Keene, but come to the South and try that shit. You get a bullet in your ass
Yeah.
really fast.
Yeah.
I'm
That doesn't sound like a real gang
I
to
thought
me.
the same thing.
Juggalo.
Seeing these juggalos, I'm like, you know, having tattoos doesn't automatically.
It doesn't make you a
make you a
gangster
fighter,
or a
right?
thug. Like, I hate when people do that. Because I bet the minute they really met a real gangster, their juggalo ass would back the fuck down.
Hold on. Daniel, hold up your phone. Can we all see that shit?
The
Jesus.
picture of
This is the-
yes. That's what they
These
do.
are the juggalos in face paint and makeup.
This is
Okay,
what
this
they
is a
do.
joke. So this is my problem.
They look
When
like
we-
members of KISS.
Okay, this is
Yeah, they
my
look like Kiss, basically.
This
Yeah,
is my
okay, that's
problem
cool.
with this. I'm from the deep south and like trap house, like real gangsters and thugs. Like you don't want to go in this neighborhood or you'll get shot. And there's a meth lab down the street.
Like, don't make eye contact.
Yeah, like real kinds of places
Lock
where
your doors when you're at
lock your
Starbucks.
doors for real. And if you go in their house, their water probably runs brown because it's that impoverished, like, types of places. So when I come here and people are like, oh, this is a bad neighborhood and this is a gang, and I'm like, this is a fucking 3-story mansion. Like, are you joking? Like, what is this? So, like, if people are like, oh, juggalos, and I'm just sorry, I cannot take you seriously at all. Like, I can't.
Okay,
Because
but
to me, I
juggalos
know
enjoy
real
violence,
violence.
For the most part, yeah.
I've met one juggalo that I'm going to say he's liberty-minded, who says, no, it's not about violence, it's about honor. He's a lot of tattoos, and he's showing me.
Honor what? What does he honor?
It wasn't unclear, it was vague, but he claims it's not about violence. But I asked other juggalos who they don't know anything about liberty, and I just was like, so is violence kind of part of the deal? Like, you have to be open to violence to be a
What
juggalo?
type of violence do they
Okay,
do?
but when
Yeah.
they say it's about honor, I feel
Yeah.
like it's about honor to like just their brethren, and they're
To
okay.
other
With,
juggalos,
they're okay
I
with shanking people once in a while to keep their brethren together.
It's about family.
Yeah, to stand up for the family unit, even though like they're not really defending anything worth defending.
So it was like, I mean, I guess all gangs say they're family. And I know in the South the way it used to be. Like, you were saying you were a juggler. Like, I mean, I didn't meet many girls who were saying that type of thing, that they were in a gang with a bunch of guys, because how they got in that gang was someone raped them, or everyone in the gang raped them, and or they beat the shit out of them in a public place.
Jumped in. I got
Like,
jumped in.
20 people beat the shit out of them
Yeah,
in a
my
public
guys.
place. So, like, what was going through your mind when you were like, I will let these people beat the shit out of me?
Oh, wait,
I literally
after they
don't
beat you
know.
up, you're like, my brothers!
Yes. Really? Yeah, like, okay, I remember we jumped this one guy in. Okay, so remember how we said that Seditious Sirens are shameless? Not exactly, I'm like completely ashamed of myself right now. But we jumped this one guy in, and we beat the fuck out of him. And
And he consented to being jumped in?
yes, like, he
Well,
was excited.
I don't
Everybody
know.
was excited about this
Yeah,
shit.
He was like, wow, you guys beat me up so well. I want to be part of your
He
group.
fucking threw up, and then came back over and
Oh my
hugged us
God.
all. And
He's like,
yeah.
thank you for not killing me.
Yeah,
Of course I'll join your group.
yeah,
So, they literally jumped you.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Could
actually,
you
if
explain
you
this? Like-
agree to the violence, I don't really have a problem with it. Like, there are people who pay organizations to, like, you know, one of these days I'm going to sneak up on you and beat the shit out of you. You're not going to know when it's coming. And people, I don't know, they just have a lot of money and they're just looking for a thrill in life, will pay people to do that for them. So that's fine, it's voluntary.
I mean, I guess if you say yes, it's consent. I mean, everything you do, if it's consent and it's not hurting anyone else, I don't give a fuck. Live your life, man.
But it's
But
still completely asinine.
it's still, I mean, it's your personal, like you're saying now, you're maybe a little embarrassed of it because your personal choices at the time might not have been the smartest, but you were saying that that was your choice.
Okay, but honestly, if somebody beat you up in order for you to join their group, do you really want to be part of that group? Because they're not convincing you. They're just like, join our group or we're going to beat you up
I
even
wasn't
more and
even-
you'll probably die.
I wasn't even fully in this at the time. Like, I never fucking liked
But you were frightened, weren't you? You were like, if I try to leave, they're going to hurt me even more.
Not even necessarily. I kind of just want to be cool. Like, yeah, I can take an ass beating. Like, you at me. Because the point is to
Will you fight back?
be strong. Yes, the point is to be stronger than the person who's trying to beat your ass.
But it's like 8 people.
No, there were. I think there were 4 there. at the
4 to
time.
1, that's
I
not
only-
fair.
Well, I was able to take 1.
Are you supposed
The
to
second
fight
one
back?
Jumped in.
Or are you supposed to take it?
Yes. Yeah, you're supposed to fight back. You're not supposed to like.
To make it more fun for the others, or just to show that you can fight back?
Both.
Just to fight back and run away, so they'll never get you.
If they go to jump someone who they have to as an initiation type thing, and the person is just like a little bitch about it and like cries, do you not get in?
They're like, no, we
Or
don't want
they
you.
still probably beat the shit out of you. This seems like a bunch of psychos. Like,
I guess so. I mean,
Sorry, man, that was just embarrassing.
I mean, even when you say you are a former jugular, that's why I guess the other reason why I'm not really, that's why I can't take them seriously either, is because no one would be, I could go back to that community and no one would be like, oh yeah, I was a former gangbanger. No one would ever say that because guess what?
Yeah.
They fucking
The
beat
better
them.
question
And
is who the
that-
fuck would let me in their gang? Like, come on.
That's a good point.
That's why that's your excuse for why they let you out.
Can you imagine, like, Renee coming up to you in an alley, being like, making
Give me your money.
demands?
Actually, I can see that.
Can I ask?
Give me your cigarettes. Give me your cigarettes.
Can I ask?
I gave cigarettes on
smoke them.
I can't take
Can
it.
you? Can I ask what you guys did? Like, what was? Was there a goal, or did you, after you got jumped, did you have meetings and you go do what? Like, I want to know what the purpose is, because I guess the purpose of these other gangs I know is drug control, trafficking, and guns.
Yeah, you make a lot of money, right?
Yeah, like their goal is to make money. They're fucking violent gangsters, but they for money.
No,
What?
it just meant that I could smoke weed, drink Fago with the right people for like a month. You know, the reason
Somebody
that
else was buying it though, right? Somebody else bought it for you.
If you bought your own Fago,
Sure, no, I love
you
it.
had to buy your own Fago and they jumped you? That's bullshit. Like,
Yeah, what do you get out of this? What do you, what's
The free
the
There
Fago.
was nothing, and I was actually so pissed when I like left the group. Somebody burnt a flag, and god damn it, I need to stop calling it a flag. It's not a fucking flag. Somebody burnt one of the bandanas that was the color of the group that I was in. It was blue, and they called
Oh,
it
diss.
Blue Devils. I hate to diss it because like my brother died still repping Blue Devils, so I mean I don't know. It's still like I feel that, but. I sewed one of the fucking bandanas to my shirt, like all burnt up and shit. And everybody got so pissed. Like, I had some dudes meet me in an alley and pull a freaking knife on me. Said, take that shirt off. Here.
You guys
Yeah.
are placing way too much emphasis on symbols. That is insane.
Yeah, like
No,
if I'm
seriously.
still saying it's a flag. Like, no, it's fucking not. It's a blue piece of fucking cloth. Like,
do you still come in contact with any of those people? Because Keene is so small.
yeah, I still see them. But they're also doped out now. Like, they really are good.
And you're reformed, right? You no longer jump people.
No. I never.
I jumped Renee into Seditious Sirens. I did.
Yeah, so ever so violently and non.
Oh, I guess we haven't got the initiation yet. We haven't been beat up.
We all have to make out.
Yeah, that's a great idea. All right, who's ready for a show?
We'll save that episode for Porkfest.
It is interesting though to hear about just the way my mind works is I just like constantly making associations and hearing about the juggalos and like the real gangs in Georgia just made it's like yes, this is what violent gangs do. Like they have like these things in common where there's like an initiation that's supposed to be kind of unpleasant or very unpleasant, and then there's pressure to not leave because you could be threatened if you don't leave or get in a lot of trouble. And you know, but once you're in the gang, you know, it's all these excuses like you're in the gang for money, but you know, once you're in the gang, it's like an incestuous like brotherhood or whatever.
I mean, that's why I feel like so many people don't want the Free State Project to be looked at that way, especially even having like us. Like, I mean, I guess if you wanted to make that argument, we have a
the
symbol.
cold is the snow is the initiation.
The snow is the initiation. If you survive the snow is jumping you in. But I mean, I've seen people get offended because like people do like the little sign with the quills, and they're like, oh, like that's a gang. And I mean, I feel like people have hijacked it to the point where if anyone's like organizing or making a community, it's either a cult or a gang. And it's like, and a lot of people think that the Free State Project is violent for some reason. I don't know why people seem to kind of associate. Well, I mean, I do, because it's like the government saying we're terrorists because we're speaking out against like
we're,
them.
we're attacking their way of life, is what it is. It's their whole idea of comfort and security. So to them it seems violent because they're like, you're gonna take away our free roads.
And that's why
okay.
and that's why people are just like, oh, like I don't really want us to be like making symbols and stuff, because people are gonna be like, oh, we're a gang and like we're violent. I was like, I mean, there's nothing violent about this. And this is my thing with anything you say. Even people ask me, oh, how do you feel about the word nigger or whatever? I'm like, anything used in violence is in like a way to threaten me. Either way, they're just words, but anything used in a violent rhetoric is violence after that.
Like, the
So
intent is what
yeah,
it is.
it's the intent. And so people making a little porcupine with their fist, I'm like,
How
calm
do you do
down.
it? I want to know the sign.
Oh, and there it is. So it's a circle.
It looks like an AOP
your
sign.
finger and your thumb.
Yeah.
Am I doing
Am I
it?
sticking your fingers up?
Yeah.
We're doing it. And it's like, yeah, that's our porcupine game. But
Ohio.
it's like, people are so scared of being associated or that they censor themselves. And I'm like, we're a peaceful people. People are going to judge you either way, but we can either give them something to talk about or we can conform. And that's not what we should be doing.
I remember when I got my first car and I brought home hot blocks box sticker and put it on the back of my car, and I'm all freaked the fuck out. Like, do you understand? You're gonna get pulled over now, blah, blah, blah. Like,
That's true. You probably
well,
will.
whatever.
At
but,
least
like,
you didn't
I'm
have
fine
fuck
here.
the police on the back. That would have been
Fuck
even
the
better.
whole.
I have something like that on my car now. It's F and then a blue line. So.
You probably do get pulled over.
I also have an Am I Free to Go? These are new pop-up stickers that are coming out, by the way. For anyone's on the car. For
Anything.com.
everyone's in the room.
And you asked earlier, why do people, I think you said, asked, why do people want to characterize free staters as violent? And it doesn't surprise me that people want to do that, even though from my experience being a free stater, almost no one has any violent intentions. I would say like pretty much everybody. But I think the reason why they want to categorize the Free State Project that way is because it's the easiest way to discredit any group. A group is discredited to me if they're violent, like, you know, like these environmental organizations, you know, like you're for the environment, that's cool. Oh, you blow up buildings, that's not cool. No, you're discredited, and I won't listen to what you say now or support you.
Because once you add violence, your cause is dead.
Yeah, well, not only that, but you can also portray groups as just insane. Like, this is not realistic at all. This will never work out. And I feel like that's how the Free State Project has been presented in, like, the mass media. Like, look at these crazy libertarians, or, you know, like, throwing tea off the dock. Like, it's not even the same thing, but somehow it's connected in the media's eyes. And then we're just demonized because we have these unrealistic goals, because it doesn't exist now. People can't see the bridge between now and, like, this future libertarian utopia that everyone imagines. And it's true, like, it's hard to imagine because it doesn't exist and it hasn't before.
I mean, it's not hard for me to imagine, but I guess I mean, I've had more leaning towards it. But in the International Students for Liberty Conference, Ron Paul even said that was the biggest conference they had ever had, thousands of people, and he said, why are, you know, the youth today, this never would have happened when I was in college or whatever. And he was like, because when you tell someone the ideas of freedom and you explain them in a clear, rational way, who would not want to be free?
Yeah.
It's like, who wouldn't want to be free? So I feel like it's a total rational idea is when you say it in a way that people can't comprehend because they've been taught one way. So I like you said, like your stop freaking employer or someone who didn't agree with him, she got to know you. And in a way, I don't feel like being liberty-oriented or being anarchist is a choice. It's you started to see the world in a different view, and that's not a choice. It's something that's inside of you. It's not something you can be like, okay, I no longer see the world for what it is. Okay, like you can't do that ever again. So it's definitely not a choice. So
I don't think that's true. I think it is a conscious decision, actually. It's very,
Wait, what is?
very conscious to be able to see the world in a different way than how you used to. Like
but you can't go back. You can't go back and you can't say, you can't unsee the things that you've seen, and you can't.
You can ignore them.
You can ignore them, but that's just putting a blanket over the dirt pile. It's still there.
I see what you're saying, and because like, yeah, I had like a moment. I don't know if any of you have had this moment where, when I was, you know, back in my hometown, I was like so into the ideas of liberty when they came to me, and I just like was always like looking more into it, like delving as deep as I could, and like preparing myself for questions that hadn't even come up yet, or really just questions I had. I was like, what if someone asked me this? I want to have the answer prepared, and learning a lot. And then, you know, it was kind of like a rabbit hole. And then I was realizing that I was doing a lot of confirmation bias, like trying to find out what the libertarian answer was. And once I found something that sounded okay to me, I would just accept that as the truth. And then I was like, I really don't like the way I'm going about this. Maybe I'll try to be very skeptical of libertarianism for a while. Like just, you know, for a while, just whole libertarian ideas is like, no, that's probably not right.
You
What
want
else
to be
could it
convinced, right?
Yeah,
You want them to sell it to you.
yeah, this actually, yeah, like a very smart person recently said on one of my Facebook walls is that you should make ideas compete for your approval or your acceptance of them. And I like that, and that's kind of like what I was doing. I should have maybe had that approach to begin with, but it was just like observing myself being like so indoctrinated with the ideas of liberty, like self-indoctrinated. So I had to take a step back but it was like very hard to be skeptical to the ideas of liberty, and I found it, and then when I finally like could do that, I was like, okay, when I'm thinking like an authoritarian, I treat people poorly, I'm grumpy all the time because things aren't the way that they should be, and I'm not being myself. But when I accept that things are the way they are, and that most situations are voluntary and not coercive, and only the coercive ones stand out to me as like especially bad.
Yeah, I understand.
It's
what
just
you're
like
saying.
the ideas of liberty are just, they're true for me. They're true to my life and what I see.
Yeah, I remember even before I became a libertarian, every time I did something that was, authoritarian in some way, I felt terrible about myself. Like, I really disliked myself.
Yeah, it's
I
not who you are.
projected it onto other people. I was like, well, I just don't like people. But no, it wasn't them, it was me.
Like I always say, Derek J's victimless crime spree was really my moment of waking up, and it was like he said, I was seeing things in the way of he got arrested, and I was like, well, he should have resisted. And then I thought about that statement. He shouldn't have resisted these men trying to take him away and put him in a cage for dancing in a park. he should just go with them. Oh,
Yeah, you're right, this dancing.
Fuck you for not consenting to kidnapping. God damn you,
Yeah,
Derek.
so-
And they should have sprayed fucking pepper gas in his face. That's awesome.
I cried at that part. So it was
I
just,
did too. I was there.
it was that little, that seems so small, but that small little flicker, it kind of ignited the big spark, because then I started looking at everything that way. Why is it this way? And it was just, now I tell my friends, when they say something that way, they say, well, I think they should do this law because blah, blah, blah. And I say, well, basically all they're saying to that is you're too stupid to decide this for yourself. So we, as your government official, will decide how you live your life for you.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
And then I
everybody
asked-
else knows better than
Yeah.
you do.
And then I asked them, I was like, do you feel like you own yourself? Or does some old white guy on Congress that you never even met before, does he own you? And
People don't
then
realize how degrading government really is. And
that's why you gotta break it down for them. And like I said, it's that little flicker from Derek J's victimless crime spree. It's set a fire, and I've never been able to look at it the same. That's why I feel like it's not a choice.
I was explaining this to some people that I took, this was a while ago, but to get your license in New Hampshire, if you're under 18, you have to do driver's ed. So I was in driver's ed prior to being 16, actually. And someone from liquor enforcement came in and encouraged everybody to put their name on the list so they could go into stores. Like, this woman was going to pay these kids to go into stores and try to buy alcohol and see if the person cards them, and if they can walk out with a drink, then she would go in and find them. Now, at first, everyone was like, whoa, you get $40 for every bust you make? Me. And I stood up so fast and said, anybody who puts their name on that list is a fucking snitch, first of all. And second of all, do you not understand that she is degrading you right now? And my teacher was like flipping out, like, Renee, sit the fuck down and shut up. And I'm like, no, this is bullshit. Do you not understand that this woman right now is telling you that because somebody handed you a substance that you could decide whether or not to put in your body and whatnot, like, she's telling you that you can't handle that. And that she wants to make your choices for you.
What did she say?
Shit.
How did she respond to you?
She didn't say a fucking word. She walked out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she was
She's like,
more
well, here's the
than-
list. If you want to sign up, you can.
She left it there. Nobody put their name on that list. Nobody.
Damn. Go Renee.
All right.
Yeah. And applause.
Start the revolution, man.
If I never
I
did
almost got
that,
thrown out of
my
driver's
heart
ed.
would be beating so fast, I wouldn't even know what to say.
I was so pissed because, like, ageism is my fucking pet peeve. Like, pet peeve. So I was, like, not having that. I was so mad. and,
Snitches
like,
are?
No, fucking ageism. Like, when, oh my god.
She's like, I
Don't
know,
even
not
get me
snitches.
started. Like, you know how hard it is for me to get my fucking mail? Like, so the two of you who were in Keene, did either of you have a box at the shipping shack?
No.
No? Okay. So, I was on my parents' box, and when I moved out, I wanted to get off the box, obviously, because they don't need to have my mail. I was getting birthday cards sent in, and people were sending me money, because, you know, they knew I was struggling, like, leaving that house. So my mom handed me one of the envelopes, and it was open. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So I walked down the shipping shack, and I'm like, this is open, and this is not okay. Like,
Alright,
bullshit.
but you're not a human because you're under 18.
that's basically, okay,
Who
so
opened it?
I have no idea. That, like,
You sure your mom didn't open it?
she put a note on it that said she did, but I don't believe her. I think she was covering for all the junkies that lives in the house, but that's a whole nother. So,
Doesn't matter, it was open.
yeah, it was open. I was pissed off, and I went down the box. Somebody had made it. So Ian has a box there too. So I got my name on his box, but then the boss found out, fucking flipped his shit, and I get a call saying, "Oh, sorry, your name's back on your parents' box." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I go down there, and I'm like, "I need to talk to this boss right now." And she's like, "Come on, don't do it." Like, and I'm like, "No, this is bullshit. Like, why can't I have my goddamn mail? Like, because I'm 6 months shy of being magical number 18? Are you fucking kidding me? No. Like, I deserve to have my money. Fuck you if you think that it's okay for my parents to have my money, or whoever the fuck took my money to have my money. Because if it was taken by my brother, it was used on heroin, and I'm not fucking okay with that." So he's like, "Oh, well, I can't put your name on your boyfriend's box because that's breaking, you can't sign a contract." And I'm like, "No, that's because you're going to choose to not honor my signature because for some reason you think that I can't be cognitively awake enough to fucking realize what I'm doing by putting my signature on a piece of paper. Like, that is so goddamn degrading. Like, or because people think that I had trouble at the bank the other day. I'm like trying to get my fucking debit card fixed because my account expired because the mail was getting sent to my mother, so I didn't know that my account fucking expired, so I had to go to the bank. Sorry, I'm really pissed off."
So
So
basically, you're saying that they won't let you decide where your mail's sent or what to do with your bank account stuff.
Because you haven't
because of your
aged
age?
the right amount of years.
right, I was able to negotiate with the guy in the box because I was literally the point where I'm like, I swear to God, I'll fucking sue you. Like, it's like my mail is open, and I'm sure like someone has to not be okay with this. Like,
I didn't even know that was like the law. I didn't
it's
even
not,
know.
but I was just so
If they
pissed
can
that
put
I
your
was
name
so
on it,
honest.
it should be able to go to you.
No,
I was like,
I've
I'm always
always
sending stuff to my mom's house anyway, just because it's easy for me. Just like put my mom's address on there. So I can't relate to this, but I trust my mom, and then like I've given her permission to open my mail. But so that's like a different thing.
Yeah, if you
It's
verbally
a
give
difference.
permission, it's different.
But
But
it
if
sucks
you're,
if you-
if you're under 18 and somebody else is your guardian, they can open your mail for you. That's not an offense.
What if you? I thought you did like. Okay, what about this scenario? You want to leave your parents' house. How early can you do that?
You have to be.
You have
There's
to
no
be-
emancipation in New Hampshire.
It depends on
They
the state.
they could have dragged me back if they wanted to, but they knew like
No emancipation from your parents until you're
there's
18.
no emancipation. in New
Basically,
Hampshire.
unless you get like CPS involved, you can't leave your parents' house unless.
Even if you get CPS involved, you fucking go to foster care or some shit. Like, I could still be fucked. It's like getting sent back to slave masters. Like, it's not okay. I am still at risk of being sent back to slave masters.
Some people are gonna
How
find
are
that
people okay with
they're gonna
this?
find that over the top, but I actually have to agree with you in principle. That
No, that's true. I was in foster care and I've left a house that was abusive and they actually arrested me. And not arrested me, but I mean, they basically did and made me go back.
Yeah,
And they said if I wanted to leave, it wasn't, and I was maybe 16 at the time, and they said if I wanted to leave, like there's emancipation in Georgia, but they said I would have to go to a group home while I waited.
Yeah, it is
fucking bullshit.
So it was just like,
There's a million ways that house is not okay for me to be in. And I didn't want to get the state involved because I was so scared that they would send me away. And I had teachers at school because they would notice, like, this girl's pretty fucked up. Like, she's thin and she is clearly in distress. Like, they would be like, hey, do we need to, like, talk to people for you? And I'm like, no, don't do that. You're going to fuck everything up. I'm going to graduate high school early. Like, I have enough money to leave that house. Please do not. Like, I had to beg this one woman, like, please don't call the state because you will make everything worse.
Yeah, they're trying to save you, but really they just make it more complicated.
They're not-
If you're
know
under
that.
18, you don't have a choice of where you go. It takes months for any transitions to happen. So it's just.
I didn't know.
I
that
mean,
was, I didn't know that was a law in New Hampshire. That's like, yeah, especially fucked up to me.
it's
It's
all
very-
bullshit.
Yeah, just because it's like,
imagine, like, I know you're saying that, like, your situation at home is bad. Imagine, I'm sure there are kids who have, like, way worse, just, like,
I'm sure
super
it's
abuse.
worse.
What if your parents, like, seriously hit you every day? And you have to basically either put up with it until you're 18, or you have to get the state involved in your family?
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
And it's even worse. Like, and at that point, like, I know it was different for me. Like, it was just either go back or go to a group home, which would have been 5 billion times worse. And they're trying to save you. I don't know. That makes my bones, like, have a chill through them, because I was in the system until I was old enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna live on my own and move to Boston. And I had to wait till I was 18. So that shit shivers in my bone. The state is trying to protect you.
I know, I
yeah,
felt so trapped until I was 18. Like,
Yeah.
I just gotta wait for this one day, and then after that day, I'm free. And it's like opening up the gates.
And they don't keep their even when I was trying to go to college, it was just like, I would call the state, can I have my records? Oh, well, we have no idea where they are. We're having budget cuts. There's no one to look. So, like, that's basically what they said, word for word. And it was just like, that's all they would ever do. Only time the state's ever there, people, is to take your children. That's the only time they're involved. And then they leave them somewhere with God knows who or what. Somebody who's like, oh, I'll be a foster parent. And they have 26 other kids and they don't feed you for a month. And that the state's like, okay, that's fine, but your parents aren't fine. Or this is the only other option.
No,
like, I'm not responsible enough to make my own decisions. Like,
No, you know what they look for in foster homes is, do you have carbon monoxide detectors? Do you have fire detectors? Do you have running water and a bed? That's pretty much it. And anything beyond that, they don't really care.
they just said, do you have a gun in your house? Ironically enough, do you have a gun in your house? No, then you can keep her. Yes, then we have to take her to another home.
It's crazy. And yeah, I feel like I need to mention this book, Legally Kidnapped. It's all about stories like
Oh,
this.
yeah,
If
Carlos.
you want to really learn more about CPS or get really bummed out about what it's like to be a kid these days, then yeah.
Well, I guess we don't have to read it though, because we already know.
Yeah, we basically
Sorry.
looked at it. But Carlos
We're not
Morales,
Christmas.
Legally Kidnapped. I know it's on Amazon, so giving you a plug there.
I'm gonna put out a call for help. If any state reps in the other room can hear me, or whoever's gonna watch this, state reps in New Hampshire, somebody please fucking propose a bill for emancipation in New Hampshire for people under 18. Please, like,
So
please.
how does emancipation work in states that have it?
Oh, well, in Georgia, I know, it's just like a shit ton of paperwork, first of all, and lawyer. I mean, they almost make it impossible, even though they have it.
paid to do it.
Yeah, you have to pay. It's
You have to
money.
prove that
Yeah.
you're financially responsible.
Oh, yeah, you
have
gotta
to
go
prove that
through
you're
a
mentally
judge.
stable.
So it's like, so I would imagine it's something like, well, in this state they have emancipation, so once you turn a certain number in age, then you can apply for emancipation, and if it all works out for you and your paperwork's all good, then you can, you don't need a guardian at all
No
anymore?
guardian.
Okay.
But you have to prove all this stuff beforehand. And like, I mean, it's just, I know the judge system and like, it's impossible. Like, even though they're saying it's an option, they're trying to make it as hard as possible for you to actually do that.
Do you
'Cause
basically have to throw your parents under the bus
Yeah,
to do
and
it?
you have to be, you have to say, I have no contact with them, I don't speak with them, we are against each other, we hate each other. And you can be 15, I think, in Georgia and apply for it, but it literally has to be, it's the hardest thing in the world to do, and it's expensive too, so it was just not an option for me.
I wish I were in Georgia then when I was 17, because I would have gone to the ends of the earth, man. Like, I was going so psycho in that house. Like, it got to the point, the night before I moved out, I was in the hospital because I had slit my fucking arm open because I was trying to die. And the next day, I was told to kill myself by my fucking stepfather. Like, that's why I left. And the fact that the state is okay with that, and that they would have made me go home, to this day, they would still make me go home to that? Like, that's not a home. Why do they think that's a home? Why do they think that's okay?
Because they don't care about you.
They don't, which, like, I totally get, but it's
The
just,
state
like,
doesn't
so
care about
upsetting
you.
to me. Like, I was so scared for the first couple months I moved out. I kept a copy of my diploma on me. I kept a pay stub on me. And proof of residency at all times because I was so scared that they
It's
would send me
almost-
back.
it's
Like I was
almost like
putting to
you're-
cop, like, hey, like don't send me back. Look, like I'm stable. I have a place to stay. Please don't make me go back there.
It's almost like you're a fugitive when you move
Yeah.
out when you're underage.
Yeah.
Because you never know, what are they
It's
going to come after you
terrifying.
for?
And if you would have tried to leave, they would have came and got you.
It's
And that's what
truly
happened to me. I tried to leave and they came back and got me. And they actually pressed charges on me. The state pressed charges on me for being a juvenile delinquent because I tried to leave my foster home.
It's illegal. I knew a girl who got beat and ran away from home, and they fucking pressed charges on her for being a runaway.
Yeah. And it was just like,
So sick. That is so sick. Like,
Yeah, it's really insane. It just goes to show that they don't care about the children. They just want, people to have the family unit for one reason or another.
I think they want it so that consider this for a moment. If you're under 18, I don't know about New Hampshire, but at least in Alabama, it was like, you can't get charged as an adult for most shit you would get caught doing. And so they just want to have someone to hand you over to and get, if I did something terrible, like I robbed a bank, then my parents are responsible. So my parents have to bring the hammer down because they don't want to be seen penalizing kids.
it's 17 here.
Okay, so it's more so about who are we going to punish in this
Yeah,
situation.
they want to basically enforce their laws through the parents.
You know
Because
what?
they can't bring down the full hammer of the law onto people who aren't
or underage.
You know what makes me even more sick? They would still make me go back to that hellhole, but they would charge me as an adult if I got caught with a pipe or something.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
So, what do you guys think about the Free State Project?
I think
Statement of
I don't
intent.
know.
It's going
Statement of intent. You have to be 18 in order to
All
sign.
right, well, related to this, I think there's a lot of legislation coming out of the Free State Project that hasn't been presented before, or if it has, then it's been walked all over. So I think that's a good thing, and maybe
But Renee-
emancipation is going to come out of this someday.
Renee,
who
you
knows?
can't sign the statement of intent.
She already lives here.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
just-
don't have to, but
If anyone's gonna start with it, it should be them. They need to stop it.
I get really pissed when people use the 18 thing on me, ever. Like, if I went to apply for a job and they said, no, sorry, you have to be 18, come back when you're 18. When they tell me to come back, I'm like, no, fuck you. Like, don't tell me to come back when I'm 18, because you don't appreciate me now. I'm not going to be any different then, really. Like, I haven't changed that much since I was 14. Like, I feel like I've always been, like,
I don't know, you did quit being a juggalette.
yeah. Well, there
People
was like,
become more refined as they get older.
like, there was I
mean,
woke
that's
up pretty
inevitable.
fast. Like, that didn't go on.
But either way, you made the choice to be a juggalette or whatever. It was still your choice. If you're responsible for making your choice to be a gangster or whatever, you can make your choice to be anything. You made the choice to stop doing that, and you made the choice to turn your life around. Either way, it's argued. It's still a choice that you made, and you were responsible or irresponsible enough to make that choice. Either way, it was up to you. So it's not fair to say, oh, well, maybe you get. I mean, it is inevitable. You do learn more as you get older. If you never learn anything else the rest of your life, then you're living your life the wrong way.
Right.
So-
I'm not saying that I'm not growing as a person. I'm just not that different from when I was 14. Like,
You made choices. And that's why I'm just like, if the ageism thing, I think that's one thing in the statement of intent for the Free State Project that I like to see change.
What is ageism exactly?
It's judging someone based on their age and not on their
by a
characteristics.
Judging
arbitrary
someone?
number. Yeah. Like,
Or thinking that they're less valuable as a human being because of
Yeah.
their age. Because I judge the shit out of people based on their age.
I don't do that.
Really, people don't really choose how old they are, is the thing. Like, you can't judge somebody.
Well, I judge
Right.
people based
You
on
judge people based on their maturity level. You don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
how old everyone is.
Well, hey, a prime example, if, I have a coworker who's my age, but they remind me a lot of a 7-year-old, then yeah, is that ageist? If I'm like, I think you should be more mature for your age than you are.
No.
But I'm
It's-
judging them for their age.
Well, you're judging.
I wouldn't
I'm
call
taking
that.
their age into account in my judgment of that person.
I wouldn't
don't have
call
any
that
7-year-olds
ageism.
because they're only 7.
I think it's more
But
what
I have
Ellen
like
said.
to
It's
myself.
thinking they're less of a substantial person.
I
Like,
think-
for instance, I give the example, I was dating a guy who was a couple years older than me, and he thought I wasn't as, So he thought I wasn't as substantial because I was a couple years younger than him, even though I had my own place, my own job, like I was doing way better than him in life, but he thought I was less significant because my age was less than his.
I think there should be a sort of Turing test for this, where like if somebody can pass off being like a certain age just through an anonymous like question and answer, then that's what you should base them on. You should base your judgment of them on. Is like how they respond to things and not how old they actually are.
Yeah, but okay, if you're in a conversation with someone, can you imagine a scenario where you'd be in a conversation with someone and then at some point, their answers, you were kind of like thrown off by their answers. Maybe they're making, you kind of imagine that maybe this person was your age. And they keep making references to things from the 70s, and you're like, wait, how old are you? That, is that ageist?
Maybe a little.
I don't know. You're not treating them like less of a person than yourself.
No, that kind of stuff doesn't irritate me.
No,
so
Like,
ageism-
when someone
Ageism would
an
be
arbitrary number to me and then holds me to the standards of whatever the fuck they think a 17-year-old is or does or whatever.
Like I judge like my boyfriend because he's older, and I judge him because he likes he likes all this stuff, and he talks about it. Oh, how do you not know about Star Trek and blah blah
Rob, you
blah.
do.
I watch Jump the Hutt. I don't know.
Judge you.
You ageist bastard.
He says stuff like this all the time. I'm like, don't get mad at me because I don't know about this stuff. That wasn't my era.
Okay, ignorance is curable, stupidity is not.
Check your
So, like, if you don't know about something, that's not a big deal. Like, you can learn about that.
I mean, I don't want. I mean, if I wasn't in that time though, I wasn't watching that on TV. I wasn't. So it was like I don't know about those things. So I guess it can work both ways. I mean, I don't care to either.
Okay, is this an ageist remark? You should respect your elders.
Yes, I think so. Because I know people older than me. I actually, at my job, there's somebody who's older than I am, but she's my client. And she always talks down to me because she's older than me.
I give
I
people
am much more emotionally
Yeah.
and mentally mature than she is.
I give people respect who earn it and deserve it. I don't care how old you are.
You know what I hate is when people call me kid. That's so annoying.
Kiddo, I don't like
Kiddo. I mean, people always
It's a term of endearment.
People always tell me I'm little and cute, and I get offended because I'm a grown-ass woman. So I need you to
Stop
realize
growing at
that.
some point.
I mean, I did,
Yeah,
and like for a while, that annoyed me a lot about people because they were just like, and if I, especially the people who knew me when I was little, and I grew up, but I didn't grow up, I guess. So it's like to them, I'm still that little girl.
You matured.
Especially my sister. I'm like, I have this picture with her, and we're going to take the picture, and it's like a bench or something, and instead of putting me on the bench, she put me on her lap to take the picture. Mind you, I'm like 20 years old. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm a girl. Like, don't do that to me. Like, that's the only thing I hate. And with guys too.
So we have 5 minutes left, ladies.
Well, we have 10. You're on the wrong.
Well, yeah, but we need to leave on time to start out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so where can we find everyone? You can start, Ellen.
You can find me on Facebook, or you can find me here at Liberty Forum, or you
They
can
can't find you anymore by the time this show comes out. So,
Okay. Well, occasionally I go on Cuban Gang, and now I'm the every other week co-host of Dave Corn's show, Nonpartisan Liberty for All, which is a ridiculously long title, but it's a very, very well done show. And I think that's it. for now.
Snapchat?
Yeah, sure. NPL.
They don't use the awesome, loving, positive acronyms.
Yeah, they should.
Allie, I wanted to tell you, I met somebody yesterday, and she says that she listens to our show, and she's a huge fan, and she still downloads the episodes.
Was it Jennifer?
Yes.
Yes, I know. She told me that ALP is her favorite driving show, and I was like, wow.
She doesn't
You still download the episodes. She can still download the episodes.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Is ALP gonna come back before we have to go? I mean, I've got this question. Our listeners want to know, is ALP gonna come back? Because it's just a hiatus, right? A hiatus means you'll come back.
I don't think we ever discussed this, really.
Well,
Well,
I
now
guess,
you're on the spot.
see, the
So.
thing is that do we want to go back to doing ALP or do we want to do like a new
We need to
concept?
evolve. We need
Yeah,
to
I feel like
develop some
ALP
new-
is so last year. We gotta do something.
Or
better.
join our show.
I mean,
Yeah.
ALP was awesome. It was wonderful, and I loved it. But I think there could be areas where we improve, and maybe move on to something
What,
better.
the only thing that annoys me about that is just dropping it completely, is that there's so many episodes, because it was a topical show, so we'd have topics and be like, oh, we gotta save that for when we're really prepared. We wanna prepare for this, because it's such a good topic. And we never got around to it.
Well, you come
So we're
on to-
saving them up.
You come on Seditious Sirens and then we'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah, just
You would let us
Yeah.
the topic for the show is this, and if it goes off topic, then
Oh yeah. Anytime you want.
nothing really happens. Just
Anytime you
buy
want.
our
Ellen.
ears again.
Okay, are you gonna tell them your Snapchat, Ellen, or what are you gonna do?
No.
Okay. Well then.
She's like, no, please.
So Ellen, where can everyone find you?
You can, I'm on Facebook as well as Allie Havens, and you could go to alliehavens.com. My name is spelled Alihavens, and that's, last time I promoted it, I was, it was in It's Like This Too, and I said, oh yeah, alliehavens.com, but I didn't have like the domain.
And Rob gave you shit about it.
And I didn't have it all synced up yet. And then Ron Paul promoted that episode, and so it like blew up, but the website wasn't ready. It was like under construction because I didn't expect that to happen. So I'm just pissed about it. And so every time I go to work on the website, I'm like, well, I don't know who this is for anymore. I missed my opportunity. But anyway, alliehavens.com is where you can check to see if I've posted. I want to make it a blog basically, so
Oh,
that's in the works.
Brand blog?
Yeah. Or maybe video blog. I don't know.
Because Allie's important, cool enough to have her very own website.
Yeah, I just got to buy the domain. I bet you should have you checked to see if your name as a domain works, if it's available.
Wait.
You
Why
should.
would I do that?
Because you should buy it. Because I'm gonna buy your domain, so you have to pay me a bunch of money to get it back.
What? Come on, that's ransom, dude.
Aha, it's a market.
Well, what's the update with our site, Renee?
Well, I got called out. I bought the domain name, so there's a website in the works, but I'm fucking lazy, and remember how I'm late with everything, you guys? Yeah,
So this is her latest yet.
I'm
Actually,
getting on that.
you thought 2 days was late.
Well, if you go to seditioussirens.com, then it will take you at least to our Facebook page where you can find videos and, shit like this that we're up to, which is cool stuff.
Yep,
Or at least
and
we think we're cool.
as always, if you're watching this or you're listening to this, you can find us on YouTube. And if you can subscribe, that would be lovely because we get our own URL on YouTube. And I didn't plug ShireDude.com, but there was his plug, ShireDude.com, and RebelLoveShow.com, whose lovely banner is on the front of our table. And thank you, Ian Freeman of Free Talk Live, for letting us use your equipment. This has been a great show, guys, so thank you for coming.
Yay, thank you for having us.
And remember,
Sedition is sexy.
How did you know? It's what I always wanted. And every after me.